What did they forget this time?
Thank you for joining the Escape With Me Book Club. Escape with me, Sam Reiner.
And me, Hannah Rossell.
Into our most recent read. Come with us as we evade reality and go into detail about a new book. We'll be covering the book from beginning to end, so there will be spoilers. Today we're going to alternate United States, covering 2 books. Published March 15th, 2022, Inheritance is a series prequel that looks at the night of Sam and Jeff's graduation party. Meanwhile, published August 29th, 2023, Rain is the final installment of the American Royals series. Beatrice is in a coma, Daphne is faking a pregnancy, Sam is hiding in Hawaii, and Nina is avoiding everything royal. How will the main characters find their own futures? And will it make the series worth reading? Background to this, I've read both of these, and once again, I completely forgot Sam's plot.
Poor Sam.
In Inheritance. I remembered vaguely her plot in Rain. I don't know. Sam just doesn't have the best plots, I guess. It's just not for me. But I read this. It took me like a year between these 2 books because my library took forever to get Rain.
Oh, goodness.
For some reason, I have no idea. So it was a long break, so it was kind of nice coming back around and reading them in the series publishing. And I made you read Inheritance first because Sam's plotline becomes important in Rain, to the point where I would argue it would be confusing if you didn't read Inheritance, because Rain just assumes that you've read Inheritance and you know all the facts of it.
Yeah, it's interesting that she had to publish Inheritance. Like, why did Inheritance get published when it did?
It's not a terrible time. I mean, a lot of people do after the series ended doing a prequel, but it's not a bad time to do it, but it's just...
It just makes me wonder if she was like, I want to bring this character in. I should probably explain why they're here.
Yeah, it's just the fact that the book expects you to know who the heck this character is with very little explanation versus some other prequels that I've read where it's like, oh, you could read it whenever.
Yeah, I was very thankful you made me read Inheritance first, or I would have been like, who are these people?
Yeah, interesting choice. It's fine. I mean, I like the series, so it works out. But age level, still young adult. We still hear out in these young adult streets. And for content warning for Inheritance, you have sex mentioned and blood. And then for Rain, you have sex implied, death of a parent, sexism, and physical abuse. Which is more, but it makes sense because Inheritance really is just one night.
Yeah.
It's very quick, very short read. To judge a book by its cover, I had no idea what to do with Inheritance. It's the sunglasses that Beatrice wears on one of the covers, and then there's pearls, and oh look, there's lipstick.
Yeah, the covers really don't give much in this series.
No.
But I appreciate how simple they are, though.
Yeah, but to really get into the other one, this is my issue. Who's getting crowned? Who is on the cover? Is it Louise? Louise isn't crowned in this book.
Mm-mm.
I thought it was Sam until I reread the series, and no, Sam has brown hair just like her sister.
Literally every time I think Sam is a blonde.
I have no idea. Maybe we're all just being harassed and we're like, no, that's how blondes act.
Is it No, Daphne's a redhead.
Who is it? Who is getting crowned?
It's not Nina.
No sense, because if we go with the explanation the third book is Beatrice looking at Louise, then this is Louise, but Louise doesn't get crowned.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Her dad is still alive.
Yeah.
And if anything, kind of comes to it a little bit, but it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
I don't know. Maybe they feared a brunette. No, because one of the other books has a brunette. I was like, maybe brunette wouldn't sell as well.
All 3 of the first covers have a brunette, yeah.
And now it's just a blonde, randomly. Who is she? What are you doing in my house?
So, no clue. But to go over Inheritance rather quickly, it is the night of the party, the graduation party where everything went down. Beatrice does something with her bodyguard, and she's like, oh my goodness, I have feelings for him. Daphne is trying to be with Jeff, but she's recently cheated on him with his best friend Ethan, and so he's trying to get her friend Hamari to not tell Jeff and drugs her, and then Hamari goes and falls down the stairs and goes into a coma.
How rude is Hamari, truly.
Nina cheats has an affair with Jeff. And it's at this point that you realize Sam has no plot.
Sam's just here for the vibes.
They had to invent a plot for Sam. Because I really feel like, I left the party to go to a rock concert in a garbage truck.
Yeah.
Would have come up sooner. when they reminisce about the graduation party.
Unless she just like truly was like, I'm never telling anybody I did this.
It's such a retcon.
Which doesn't fit her character. I feel like she would have had to tell at least Nina or someone.
Or in her head, yeah. So that's a little funny. But there's not really that much to it. That's kind of it. We're done. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just that one night, so.
I mean, the only thing I want to talk about, and it's very stupid, but I don't care. Beatrice meets Luis. She knows Luis, whatever. Dad's like, hey, you guys should be friends. And everyone's like, ah ha ha, I see that you wrote this after the third book. But they're talking about the Mona Lisa because the Louvre is allowing, I don't remember which museum, but one of the American art museums to have it for a little while on loan. And I'm just immediately like, that's boring. Of Leonardo da Vinci's work, the Mona Lisa is probably the most boring thing to me.
It is one of the most recognizable, though. If you put it in a book, like people are going to be like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, and you want to know why? And I wrote down the quote because Luis is like, why is this famous? And Beatrice says, the Mona Lisa is famous because it's the Mona Lisa. Wrong. The Mona Lisa is famous because it was stolen in 1914.
What?
Yeah, no, this was just some painting no one really cared about that was at the Louvre in 1911. My bad.
Close enough.
Committed by a former worker of the Louvre.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it was just a basic, normal painting until it was stolen, and then it hit the shelves, and everyone in the world was like, oh my gosh, it's been stolen! And so it became the most recognizable piece of art because of it, and they've kept it going, but every time I see anyone try to be like, oh my gosh, fine art, his best work, da-da-da-da, no, it's not. It really isn't, guys. Please look at literally anything else Da Vinci. If the best thing you can give me about a painting is look at the technique, no, you've done it wrong. Back to the chart. Back to the drawing board. He invented flying machines, guys. Ugh. Anyway, that's all I wanted to rant about, is that the Mona Lisa is about hype, not about value or substance. It is the original going viral.
Yeah, I guess she is.
Bleh. I feel like Luis or Beatrice should know that. Apparently, in this timeline, it also gets stolen. Other than that, yeah. Daphne drugs Mari.
Yeah.
Nina almost sleeps with Jeff. Beatrice goes to a gas station and knights a dude.
I was literally, can we talk about the random guy that gets knighted? That was giving me Princess Diaries vibes.
Beatrice and Connor are traveling and their car breaks down and Connor goes to get a spare, but the spare isn't there.
Because he didn't check? What do you mean you just didn't check? That's your job.
But where did it go? When's the last time you needed to check to make sure your spare was in your car? I know why they do it, because it's check oil, check wiper fluids, check all your other stuff.
Check your blinker fluid.
But I've never needed my spare and went to look for it and be like, oh gosh, by golly, it's not there.
Yeah, because you would also think that if that car had needed the spare to be used, someone would have had to repair whatever damage happened.
And patch it and then put the spare back.
Yeah, and then put the correct tire on.
We never learned where it went. What? Anyway, they go to a gas station and Beatrice insists on coming, which is fair. Connor was just gonna leave her by the car. For all you know, this is
way more dangerous.
Way more dangerous. They go to a gas station and this dude is like, this is sketchy beyond sketch. Connor's trying to buy this dude's spare. And I'm just like, how do you even know that's gonna fit?
Yeah.
You have a little compact car. It sounds like a 4-seater. It doesn't sound like a SUV necessarily.
Yeah.
And so what if they have like a truck or something? It doesn't even ask. It's just like, I'm gonna buy it, but you don't need to logic that. So Beatrice, in her we can't let anyone know that this happened, decides to walk in and she convinces him to keep it a secret so that Connor doesn't get in trouble for not going the spare, even though she knights him. What? These people were like, we can't even give you an autograph because that would be too much of a news story. But you're going to knight him?
I mean, but I guess he has no way to prove it.
What sort of gaslighting BS is that? That's a bigger story. Does he not have security cameras? Gas stations usually have security cameras anyway.
Yeah, who knows?
That very stupid thing, because he gets invited to the next garden party. And you don't think he's gonna be there? Like, yeah, they bought my spare tire. Like, why are you here? Why were you knighted? Oh, just hanging out in my gas station doing gas station. It's gonna get out. What are you doing? Blah. Ah. Anyway, Nina's story is Sam begging her to come to a party and then Sam immediately ditching her.
Yeah, if I had been Nina, I would have been like, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Why doesn't that come up when they have the Sam, you're a bad friend fight? Because that happens in every single book. She insists, Nina, you have to come. Anyway, I'm going to go ditch you to hang out with this hot guy.
Yeah.
In a closet or in the pool or in a garbage truck. My standards are nothing.
Truly, yeah, I would have been like, I'm never going to another party with you again.
It's so stupid. She goes to the kitchen for limes and there's this dude, the servant, that's rude to her.
Liam.
And he cuts limes for their drinks, and that just makes me wonder, why are they having an alcohol party with no food? Because she's like, oh yeah, you know, the cooks and stuff are have the night off, and oh, that seems irresponsible.
Y'all don't have just chips in the castle? Some Ruffles chips?
Goes to Liam's concert. Liam plays in a band. She uses Martha as her cover name, which is a cute tie-in to the fourth book.
Yeah.
I don't buy them at all. He seems like such the stereotype of, I hate you because you're rich. Anyway, you're hot, so that works out.
Yeah, I can look past all my core values because you're hot. Okay.
But he's going out to LA to make it big with the band. Sure.
Have fun with that.
So there you go. That's it. I have nothing more to add here. Also, at the end of the book, because we've been making fun of it, at the end of the book, Beatrice talks to Ethan to get the details about Hamari going in an ambulance. And I think it's funny that the series had Beatrice talk to Ethan before she talked to Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, did she just run into Ethan first?
I think so. But it ends with, we had all grown up today, except Sam. She did not. Please do not lie to yourself.
She stayed the same. I also don't think Daphne grew up. She just committed a crime. I don't think that's growing up. That's just being a criminal.
I don't know if I would count it growing up, but I think something core in her did change.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. I don't think it's growing up, though.
To be fair, she's been an adult for a hot minute.
Yeah, I don't think she ever had a childhood phase.
She did not. Her mother would have crushed it immediately.
She didn't have a childhood.
So she was already there, and then Sam did not. Do not lie.
This is really just Sam's introduction to, maybe I don't want to be royal, and she just didn't ever realize it.
Oh, goodness. There you go. So,
inheritance.
You have to read that one because of Sam's plotline, because that dude with the garbage truck is important suddenly, and it gives you the barest of details, but I still think you'd be confused if you read them out of order.
Yeah.
But Beatrice is in a coma, and she's having memories of her and Connor. No! Bad. Sprays with squirt bottle.
Bad Beatrice. Whacks her with, like, something. Like Edna from Incredibles.
But she does wake up briefly, and so that's very encouraging. Meanwhile, Jeff is currently crowned acting king, and so Beatrice is now dating the acting king. That's the closest she's ever going to come to being a queen.
Not Beatrice.
Daphne.
It's Daphne.
We're there.
This isn't an incest book series, okay?
Man, how much I want to use that for the soundbite and how much YouTube would hate it. So Daphne is the closest she'll ever get to being queen right now. I feel really bad for Adelaide in this portion because in a year, her husband's dead. Her oldest daughter is in a coma. Her other daughter is MIA.
Yeah.
Completely gone. No idea. And Jeff has a teenage pregnancy. In a year, everything went to that.
I'm very impressed she didn't have a mental breakdown.
A little bit, yeah.
Because I feel like anyone would have. Or maybe she just saved the mental breakdowns for private, which I mean, valid, don't we all?
Yeah. Adelaide wants him to marry Daphne, and Jeff just doesn't feel ready. And I don't know, man. I don't understand people who are like, marriage is too much of a commitment. Anyway, here's the baby we're having.
Yeah, I think once a little bit more.
Granted, for a king and a queen, it would be so much more to divorce. Or to do anything, you're probably set almost. I don't know how they feel about divorce because different royalties feel differently, but...
Yeah, I mean, but they do sort of go into how royals in general act around divorce.
But still. Anyway, they're going to get married at New Year's because this family loves New Year's. I have never seen a book series that have had so many New Year's celebrations. I think there's only 2.
They really do just love New Year's, don't they?
I think there's only 2 because this book series takes place in about a year and a half.
I was about to be like, you think they'd really love the 4th of July, but...
Nope.
Guess not.
We don't get Halloween. We get a vague Christmas.
Yeah.
but we don't get Halloween.
No Thanksgiving.
We don't really get 4th of July. If we get it at all, I don't even remember at this point.
You're telling me they don't do the pardoning of the turkey on Thanksgiving?
I think Thanksgiving's mentioned because Sam's not allowed to go. Definitely no Juneteenth.
Yeah, they still got their independence from Britain, so you would assume they would still have a July 14th. Or 14th. It's not the 4th of July anymore, it's July 14th.
Better that way. But yeah, so cool. They're gonna get married. Okay, here's the thing. My issue with so much of the book series, 4 books, if we're including the prequel, Sam's plot lines always feel so light and airy compared to what literally everyone else is going through.
She gives definite side character vibes.
Beatrice is over here trying to start the first Queen of America and is having to actively deal with sexism and political coups and international politics. And Nina's over here barely making it by, her family almost losing everything they have, her almost losing her scholarship, which would screw up the rest of her life. Daphne's out here barely making it, and even if you hate her, the girl's hustling. There are things at risk.
Yeah.
And Sam's upset a boy's not talking to her.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to be like, please.
But this book shakes it up because, no. Beatrice is dealing with getting her memory back and once again political coups.
Poor Beatrice.
Daphne is out here once again hustling in these streets, trying to stay Queen of America / Princess of America, trying to make it to the wedding day. Sam learns real quick that she's lost all of her titles.
Yeah.
And is trying to make her way in the world for the first time as a normal person, which she does terribly, but that's beside the point. And Nina's trying out for a play. That's her plot line. Nina does a play thing, and then she starts dating this dude, and he turns out to be a prince. And she's like, oh no, I'm basically allergic to princes. Anyway, I'm gonna go move to Oxford.
For a semester.
For a semester that turns into something longer. But we see how those are different, right?
Yeah. Listen, Nina's been through a lot the past 3 books. It's time to give that girl a break.
It is, but it's just the author finally finds her footing with Sam because seriously, 2 books of her and Marshall, will they, won't they? Finally can find some ground with her. Where can I put her to explore this world and explore her character more? And then now we have to cheap out on Nina. We are only capable of 3 serious plot lines.
I feel like there had to be like one chill plot line every book just for the author to like go right when she was like, I'm too stressed with the rest of these.
I have no idea.
I've stressed myself out.
I kind of want to skip most of Nina's because, oh no, there's a cute boy being charismatic toward me. I hate it. Anyway, why am I so obsessed with him? Oh my gosh, I think I like him. Wait a second, he's a prince. Oh no. Well, I'm gonna date him anyway. Except, dang it, Jeff has feelings for me too. What should I do? Run away to England. The end.
Yeah.
That is Nina's entire plot line. You're welcome.
Pretty much.
Doesn't take him to Wawa's, I noticed. Still bitter about that. Lies.
Maybe the Wawa's near campus closed.
I also hate that Nina is super mean to Daphne. Daphne deserves a lot of things, but Nina, the one that kissed her boyfriend twice, has no guilt, no shame at either of those times. Girl, you are part of the problem now. I know you start the series as the cute little innocent one we all cheer for. Yes, we want you to defeat the baddie, but you're just as bad as her here.
Yeah, you still cheated.
What did Daphne do to you? Okay, first of all, she harassed you in that first book. She was a bully, and she totally led to that happening. But she hasn't kissed your boyfriend.
Yeah.
While you were dating.
And while she knew you were dating.
You've done it twice.
What's your excuse, Nina?
And we know you've done it twice because we got the exact amount of how far you went with Jeff in the prequel book. It's not even a vague, oh, we were both drunk. Nina's like, no, I want to do this. I want you to cheat on Daphne with me right now. And then she gets cold feet, and Jeff is a gentleman about that, thankful. But come on.
Yeah, it definitely gives Nina's a little bit of a mean girl and just refuses to admit it.
You have become part of the problem, honey. You have lost your ground.
Let's have some time for introspection.
To be snippy at her, to be rude at her. Honey, no. We have lost the moral high ground here. Stop being mean.
You lost it the night you started kissing Jeff.
Also, I think this is the first book that gives Sam's full name, because Beatrice and Jeff get their full names in every single book. And I didn't have my notes on me for American Royals, but I know for a fact in Majesty and in Rivals, they don't give it.
Yeah, I could not tell you if they've given it before.
But Beatrice's, let's just go by plot lines, because
it's a lot.
They overlap, but not really. They're kind of all doing their own thing.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of overlap in plot lines for a majority of the book.
So we can bring up people when they come up, but so Beatrice's plot is she finally comes back from the coma, but she has memory loss, which makes sense. She was in a car crash. What ends up happening is the neural connections that you have in your brain can get severed by physical trauma, also emotional and mental trauma, but that's beside the point. And so she has lost portions of her memory, lost, quote unquote, in that she cannot find the pathway in her brain to get them. They're still there. And that's why every once in a while she'll have a flash of something where she's like, I should feel like this, or she'll remember something. It's like that pathway is being created, but just to that tiny little part and not to the full memory. And so she deals with that this book, but she doesn't remember anything since, I want to say,
she doesn't even remember her and Connor breaking up.
And so I want to say she doesn't really remember anything much past the night's ball in the first book.
Oh yeah, where her parents were like, you need to get married.
She knows who Teddy is, and I think she knows they're supposed to get married, but she doesn't remember falling in love with him in the second book or the conference in the third book.
She doesn't remember her dad dying, so I don't think she would remember them supposed to get married, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's ever explicitly said. It probably wasn't, I just forgot.
She's really struggling with that because Teddy seems to have all these memories and this love for her, and she feels like that she can't reciprocate. And it's a little frustrating. I get that's actually how a person would respond, but at the same time, it's like, I read 3 books of y'all. Please don't do this to me. And of all the reasons I'm glad that the book stops at 4, it's mainly because I cannot deal with another book of Beatrice and Teddy being will they, won't they. You've sold me too well on this.
They were too good. Give them back.
They're too good. It's frustrating that we have to have Connor back. And so while she's dealing with memory issues, she's also trying to run a country and claim that she doesn't have memory issues, which I always thought that was a risky gamble.
Yeah, I've definitely agreed with everybody and just tell them.
Okay, first of all, there's a freaking press conference, and supposedly, okay, what is the title? They're terrible at their job. They need to be replaced. Where is she? The Lady Chamberlain, Anju,
yeah.
Supposedly has been getting Beatrice prepared for this event, but then the smallest question, the easiest softball question is given, and Beatrice has no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What have you guys been studying?
All the big stuff. They didn't expect someone to ask a small question.
Isn't it Daphne who sits down and starts telling her stuff, and she's like, oh my gosh, it finally makes sense again. Anjus, you suck at your job.
Yeah, Daphne did a better job than Anju.
In an afternoon than Anju's been doing in weeks, my girl.
Months. By the end of the book, she was better than Anju.
I don't believe your plotline. This is so stupid. But that aside, there are people that in the government, specifically the Lord Madison, is out here trying to get her deposed because she is mentally unwell. He's straight up like, Jeff, you should totally rule. It'll be fine. And then Jeff immediately goes to his sister, is like, I don't want to rule.
No thanks.
Which is their first conversation I think they've had in this entire series, but that's beside the point. But yeah, they didn't get enough comeuppance in the last book. Let's just decimate them. Let's just straight up make them the villain. So it ends up Beatrice is towing both sides of the line here. She's trying to get her memories back. She wants to talk to Connor to figure things out, what happened, but she also wants to get the country back on their side because people are going to be voting about whether she should be in or not. So she goes to Texas and talks to the Texas senator, which
I really liked her.
I really like her, but Texas had a female duke before America had their first queen. I don't know. I have questions, but it's fine. Goes to talk to Connor, and they're basically like, cool, we broke up. There's nothing there. Bye. And Beatrice is like, that's the closure I need. I can't. That's the closure I needed. I can finally close that chapter of my life. Oh, I'm so glad I drove all the way for Connor to be like, we broke up. Yep.
Good for you, girl.
There are more words, but I like my paraphrase better. Goes back, starts liked having memories of Teddy, this, that, and the other thing.
And we're back to the will they, won't they for the next 10 million chapters.
Back to the will they, won't they. She decides to be vulnerable. I'm skipping, but she decides to be vulnerable in the end, and surprise, surprise, it works for her. They're like, cool, you won the vote, hooray, you did it again, it's the last book all over again, you got all the votes, hooray! It is a little bit of a repeat, but that's okay. I think it's done well enough that it's fine.
Yeah.
I was just annoyed that Connor's back. Connor is actually pretty decent in this book, because he's straight up like, we weren't in love with each other. I think we were in love with the idea of each other. That's very mature of you.
Yeah, I mean, good for him for not taking advantage of her.
Yeah. So that's her plot line in a nutshell. For now. We'll come back to the ending after. So then you have order of mention. Then you have Sam's plot line. She's hiding out in Hawaii because Hawaii is an estate. Hawaii has kept their independence. They are their own kingdom.
Good for them.
She's hiding there because do they not have extradition laws?
I think they mentioned that and they don't. That's why a lot of royals will like go there to run away.
I feel like that's how you get a lot of criminals to run away too. You got criminals going all the way to Vietnam or other places that don't have U.S. extradition. You don't think they wouldn't want to go to Hawaii? Sus. Anyway, they're in Hawaii. Eventually they get news and she finds out about her sister being in a coma and she decides she has to go back. Marshall's kind of upset about they've been making this life and we fall off the rails real fast. Sam decides he needs to stay? He wants to come and support her.
But she's worried that his family won't let him go once they see he's back.
What?
Feels like a weak excuse.
It's really dumb.
And then she worried that their relationship's falling apart because he did the thing you told him to do, and now you're not communicating.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Shock and surprise.
Here's her plot line so we can get to the part we really want to talk about. Goes back, learns that, oh my gosh, I've caused an issue and I've lost all my titles. How could you? Well, I guess I will just live with this dude I met once years ago.
I guess he's trustworthy even though he literally said he hates royals.
Gonna live with him now and get a job at a bar. And the entire time she's like, oh my gosh, Marshall and I are growing so distant. Oh no, what shall we ever do? I just, avoid talking to him to hang out with this other man that I'm living with and spend all my time with and am totally having an emotional affair with to the point where he kisses her. Everyone saw it coming. It was the slowest car crash I have ever seen.
Yeah, I am honestly surprised they got back together at the end and didn't just break up.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. Marshall just shows up at the palace. Well, I knew you needed me to be here, so I showed up. And oh, all our family problems? It's fine now.
Yeah.
Here's one of the things that annoyed me. In the last book, they had problems because Marshall would have to give up his title to live in Sam's shadow, and she's just a princess. She's not even the queen. At the end of the book, she realizes that if she gives up her title, she could marry Marshall. And it takes an entire book for Sam to come back around and go, oh yeah, now I can marry you because I don't have a title. I'm glad what she ends up doing. She ends up getting into law school.
Because now she can practice.
Yeah, because she couldn't, because it would have been a conflict of interest.
Although you would still think the fact that she's related to the royals would still be a conflict of interest.
Oh, she still has heck of privilege. This woman goes into a Costco and starts playing with a beach ball with a child in the middle of a store.
And no one thinks it's weird.
And no one says rap. You think if a normal person did that, they wouldn't be told, please stop playing with the beach ball?
What are you doing?
No, she's the princess. It's cute. It's funny. It's quirky. She can totally disrupt an entire store. She's the princess. Even though she's not a princess, she's royal family. No, she absolutely gets privileges the entire book. And so it's frustrating that she's like, oh no, I've lost all my privileges. Oh, I'm sorry the gold spoon got swapped for a silver one. You must be devastated.
They also turn her card back on at the end.
Oh yeah, she gets all her stuff back and she can get her titles, but she decides she wants to go to law school anyway, even though her grades are trash. And she gets into what? What is it, like Stanford? A normal person that barely passed high school is not going to freaking Stanford. Shut up.
They just wanted to accept to Washington.
They just wanted a Washington.
It's like those legacy families.
It's exactly that.
Except technically if she wanted legacy, she would have gone to George Washington University, but whatever.
Well, that's the thing. That's why Stanford jumped on it. They're like, we can get royalty some other way. Anyway, she absolutely still walks around with privilege, acting like she's enlightened. I can't. But yeah, works at a bar, meets normal people.
She got to live like a normie for a few weeks.
Yeah, she had to have a real job.
How terrible.
never worried about homelessness. She literally was living in that house by choice because she didn't want to hang out with her grandma in her mansion.
Yeah.
I can't.
Or she could have stayed with Nina.
Or she could have stayed with Nina. But once again, Nina, no, I need you.
Leaves.
Anyway, let me ditch you for the first guy, and I'm not going to help you with any of your problems. Please. I can't. She's my least favorite character. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's fine. Anyway, we've already gone over Nina's plot, so we have Daphne. I'm pregnant. Oh no, you've learned from your ultrasound that I am not pregnant.
I must have miscarried.
Oh well, we're getting married anyway.
Yeah.
Oh crap, I'm developing a conscience. I think she miscarried really early, which is possible. You can have a positive pregnancy test, and then when they go to double check, you don't have an embryo. But here's the problem. Thank you for bringing this up. I was about to skip it. Heaven forbid I forget a moment to rant.
That's what I'm here for.
They would not have gotten to the ultrasound, period. Anyone who's been pregnant knows you walk in, they hand you a cup. Every single visit. I was 38 weeks pregnant, and they were having me pee in a cup to confirm stuff.
Why?
They want to make sure your hormones are fine and that you don't have a UTI, because a UTI could be very bad.
Okay, well that makes sense. I was like, they surely are not still checking if you're pregnant. They can just use their eyeballs for that.
But at that early, the first thing they would have done is have her pee in a cup, and then they would put one of those quick pregnancy tests in and be like, yes, no. Because the HCG starts spiking as soon as egg meets sperm.
Oh, yeah.
Week 2, which is conception, your levels start building, and they just go and go and go and go and go until you are freaking exhausted. So she's 6 weeks pregnant. A normal non-pregnant woman has less than 5 units. Are you over L? I'm not sure. Units. So we have less than 5 units, right? A 6-week pregnant woman has somewhere in between 1,080 and 56,500 units.
And they still stay elevated even after you miscarry for a while.
And they stay elevated because, once again, this isn't about implantation, which is the problem that happens here. Is the egg gets fertilized, but for some reason it isn't able to bury into the uterine line. You're welcome, everyone, for your anatomy lesson today.
Very important stuff.
Isn't able to get into the uterine line, where it will then attach and then eat the yolk while it creates the umbilical cord. And so it's called a chemical pregnancy. So the egg was fertilized, but it didn't attach. And so you were pregnant without being pregnant. But there is no way on this earth this OB walks in there and the first thing she does is it is internal, by the way, ultrasound. She would have been caught straight off.
Maybe they just determined it was too undignified for her. I don't know.
It is the first thing I do. It is standard procedures. What are you doing, guys? Do not just shove things in there. And there's ways, if it came back negative and they're like, okay, maybe you're not as far along as we thought you would, you can do a blood test next. Check for the levels, like, oh, maybe you're actually 4 or 5 weeks, which, once again, obviously the units are up, but maybe it's not enough to trigger one of the rapid tests, so they can do a blood test to detect sooner. That would come back negative as well. So this whole scene, I was just like, this is BS.
This is not how this works.
There are just some things you go through. I like to think of when hackers, actual real life hackers, watch movies or TV shows with quote unquote hacking, and they're just like, no.
Yeah.
None of this. So that's kind of how I feel about that. If there's anything I know about, it's being pregnant in America. Oh my gosh, it's fine. But yes, so thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
So yeah, Daphne gets found out pretty quick, but oh no, we've already announced the wedding, so whatever. Sam's really rude about the wedding. She comes back and he's like, you don't have to get married just because Beatrice was in a coma. You don't have to get married just because Beatrice is in a coma. This isn't about Beatrice. This is about you. And I'm really shocked that Jeff didn't throw out that the fact that we had to announce that we were engaged is because you just showed back up.
Yeah, it's really because of you.
It's because of you, Sam. Once again, how are you in this family, gold spoon in your mouth, and you don't understand how the gold spoon got there? The amount this family does to cover for Sam. And I don't even think Sam's a bad person. I think she's just stupid because she was been sheltered and she likes to think of herself as rebellious, but it's that embarrassing, rebellious, super religious kids going to college and getting taste of freedom for the first time, and they think they're cool and edgy, and you're just like, okay, hun, calm down.
Yeah.
So it's just, I can't vibe with her character.
Yeah, she's a nice, breakup between chapters, but overall...
There's a reason I forget her plot lines, honestly. But, yeah, Daphne is gonna get married to Jeff, and it's great, and it's wonderful.
Even though she's totally not having second thoughts at all, ever.
All those second thoughts. All the Ethan second thoughts. Ethan's back, by the way, and Ethan has decided, no, I do love Daphne.
I'm gonna fight for her.
I mean, I wasn't sold on him and Nina, but that still feels pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because she is Jamie. It's fine. But yeah, and it doesn't help. She's being blackmailed by someone, and it can only be Gabriella!
Clearly.
And look, I was surprised the first time I read the book, but reading it back the second time, it's really obviously Nina. To the point where, here's an example. Daphne tries to set up a rendezvous meeting point to be like, oh, I've got dirt about Beatrice because she thinks the only thing Gabriella cares about is gossip. I don't know what's stopping Gabriella for taking that piece of gossip and then just walking off.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have something on Gabriella. What are you thinking here? This is very stupid.
Were we thinking?
No thoughts were had. Ends up Ethan and her just get sent on a date to an amusement park. And despite the fact that she can get mobbed on the street, she can just have a day at the amusement park?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Selective.
And no one's gonna photograph the future queen there?
She's one of the most famous women in America at this point.
And she's not wearing a disguise.
She is literally a commoner marrying the prince. Everyone in the world would know this. Is her.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to come up that someone from the tabloids got a picture and published it.
The tabloids are so selective in this world.
Truly. Are they not allowed to take pictures at theme parks or something? Is that the rule?
Well, it's just normal people. Notice how Sam ended up on social media. How did she not get on social media? She's on a date with a dude at an amusement park. You're only an hour away. Nina picked it an hour away to be like, oh, you're out of the city. People still live there.
They don't live under rocks.
They're gonna take your picture. It's very stupid, but it's fine. Whatever, cute, whatever. We need them to be cute because everyone else is having problems with their man.
Yeah.
And Nina's making up problems with her man, but that's beside the point. So she decides, no, I do love Ethan, and I'm not going to marry you. And it's the day of the wedding, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're both like, we have cold feet.
2 for 2 over here so far.
We're not doing great.
Yeah, but you do forget, they do get some dirt on the Madisons.
Yes, they do. I mean, he's starting a government coup, but that's not enough. He is also embezzling from the government. We had to go deep. We had to do something here to get him deposed. And it's a whole thing here. And they're like, what in the world are we going to do here? And the wedding's kind of a fun scene.
I did enjoy it.
First of all, Sam decides unanimously to get Liam the day off because he's a chauffeur and have him be her date. Ma'am.
You have a boyfriend.
Also, if I was Liam, I would be pissed because those are going to be some real good tippers.
Yeah.
He's missing out on so much money to be your stand-in. This is when he kisses her and Sam's like, oh crap. But she doesn't regret it though, because it makes her realize her feelings for Marshall.
What is up with this family and cheating?
That's the line. That is the standard line that every piece of crap man gives in rom-coms. It's okay though. I realized how much I love you. This is some shady stuff, Catherine. Ma'am. Author? Ma'am. If this was a man, he would be eviscerated. I'm not accepting this. If my partner told me I kissed someone, but it's okay because it made me realize I do love you, I would kick them to the curb. But you know what's great? She still wants him to be her date to the wedding.
Yeah.
What is this author's obsession with, I know we kissed, but it's fine because we said we're going to be friends?
Really. Once again, what is with this family and cheating? I don't get it. In the first book, I was like, is this just a book of cheating? The only person who doesn't cheat is Teddy, and he's not even part of the family, so I don't think it counts.
Well, I mean, he does make out with Sam in a hot tub.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Not even Teddy's incident.
And then Marshall just shows up and everything's fine. Sam doesn't tell him that she kissed a dude that morning.
Yeah, are we just gonna not ever tell him?
Nope. whatever. Daphne confronts Sam about the emails because Ethan has a hacker friend. Speaking of hacking tropes that are so unrealistic.
Yeah.
Hacker goes in and realizes that it came from the personal computer of Samantha. And so Daphne thinks Sam did it, confronts Sam about it, letting it slip that Daphne hooked up with Ethan, which she managed to hide from Gabriella when Daphne confronted Gabriella, but can't hide that from Sam. Here's the thing. Sam admits that it was in her car, but Nina has had her cars. Thus, Nina has had the laptop. The hacker really should have just checked the IP address and figured out that it was using King's College Wi-Fi.
That's too simple.
That's part of the IP address. It's the location. This hacker's not good. It took her how long to... Oh no, I have to break through the royal firewall. It's so hard.
This person has really good defenses. Well, any good Hollywood hacker would get through it in like 2 hours.
3 seconds. Come on.
So step your game up, girl. Yeah, this is a really hard firewall. 5 minutes later, I got it.
If we're gonna be unrealistic, let's make fun about it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, Nina shows up because of course she did, and did do it. And so Daphne confronts her, and Nina admits, actually, my plan wasn't to be evil. It was just so you and Ethan could fall in love again.
Intention doesn't matter.
After all, we both imagined betrayal where there wasn't any.
Girl, you literally kissed her boyfriend. What do you mean?
You kissed her boyfriend? You dingbat! In the last book, while you were friends.
Yeah, what do you mean we both imagined betrayal? There literally was betrayal.
But that's fine with Daphne, who invites Nina to the picture taking because they're best friends again.
Yes.
Well, the next thing I'm remembering is how Daphne mentions that Jeff would never willingly cause her pain, and so she feels guilty, except for the 2 times he cheated on her with the same girl and then pretended that they're just friends.
Yeah.
Never willingly. I can't.
He's not as innocent as she thinks.
I can't. He's the worst. He, bottom of the list, only one below him is Connor, but honestly, after this book, does Connor go up a slot?
I think so, because he could have taken this opportunity to get back with Beatrice, but he doesn't.
And he realizes that they were never meant to be, and is very mature. I don't know. Jeff goes through a lot, though, so maybe he gets too many bonus points in this book, because he grows up real fast. And when the coup happened, he immediately told Beatrice.
Yeah.
All right. He got enough plus points, but side-eye.
Yeah, for sure.
Conveniently, Jeff and Daphne talk about it and decide to call off the wedding. Just for Gabriella to show up to say that Daphne is cheating on him with Ethan. To which Jeff is upset and tells Gabriella to leave and is like, hey, you're never going to be invited to another party in this town ever again. Which is so honest.
Sir, her father was embezzling millions. I don't think she was going to get invited anyway.
No, she definitely moves. But I just think it's funny. Jeff is immediately like, I know exactly what will make you upset.
Yeah.
So I just never, in the entire book series, does Daphne go, you cheated on me twice.
Yeah, that's your trump card, girl.
Never. It is never brought up. As far as Jeff knows, she never knew. I really wanted that to get in the open.
And she's always blaming the other girl. Your boo thing is just as complicit. He's the one that starts it.
They have such a real conversation, and I just wish it all went out there. But Daphne decides she wants to stand on her own instead of choosing Ethan, which good for her. That's probably for the best.
Explains a lot about Daphne.
So they're freaking out because it's the day of the wedding, and we can't do this again because we did this in book 2. And Daphne just goes full PR mode, and I love it.
Yeah.
And Louise just immediately sees through everything Daphne has ever done, and it's like, you engineered your relationship with Jeff and just knows, and I kind of love it.
I loved it. I was like, honestly, I was a Daphne hater. Her storyline ended up being my favorite.
I like her a lot.
I didn't like her in the first few books, and now I'm like, I've been corrected.
I am tied with her and Beatrice, but I like them for different reasons.
Yeah, I liked Daphne's redemption, but I like how sweet Beatrice's story was at the end.
And how strong she is, and how she's always thrown against this tough stuff, but she makes it through. I really like that.
Yeah.
She is this strong, independent woman that doesn't have to be the stereotypical strong, independent woman, and I like it. She's just her.
Yeah, she needs her man, but she can also get done.
Yeah, it can be both, and it's fine.
I love that about her.
But Luis ends up hiring Daphne, which is great.
I love it, yeah.
Because Luis and Alexei want to get married, except neither of them want to get rid of their crown, so it's a whole thing.
Because they're both only children, aren't they?
No, Alexei has a sibling, but he doesn't want to give up the crown. crown. I think Louise is the only child, though.
Yeah.
But Daphne's plan is to have Beatrice and Teddy marry each other and be like, oh, we were just pretending because
they wanted to plan in peace.
It's so special, and they wanted to have the time and it works.
Yeah, shockingly.
I feel like the internet sleuths would have figured it out, but I don't know if anybody would have said anything.
Yeah, there's Reddit conspiracy threads about it.
Oh yeah, TikToks for days.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Beatrice is just figuring out her feelings. She's been realizing that she does care for him very deeply. And guess what? Instead of just assuming what the other person thinks, they have a conversation. Hooray!
Amazing. I love communication.
And she's like, all of this is forever and always if you put up with me. And he's like, nah, you're worth it. So he proposes with his grandmother's sapphire ring, which he wasn't able to do earlier. So that's very sweet. And they're going to get married. It's great.
Like an actual proposal this time.
Yeah.
They both mean it. It's not just like a business transaction.
Yeah. It's not the parents going, you guys are getting engaged. It is them choosing it. And it's very sweet.
It was cute.
Because they need to buy some time, Sam gets sent out as an attention decoy.
Yeah. I mean, people eat it up. They love her.
And she is shocked that the crowds
love her,
that hate her seem to love her now. Her inability to accept that the crowd is made up with individuals with separate opinions really tells me what she thinks about the common people. You're not your own people. You're just whatever is being said to me now.
You're just hive mind.
And, oh, good news. Marshall shows up with his regalia and is ready to be Sam's date.
Yeah, I just wonder what happened to Liam.
What happened to Liam?
He just disappears?
He disappears when Marshall shows up.
Does Marshall beat him up or something? What is going on with Liam?
He doesn't know. I don't know. He just gets thrown away. And it's so stupid that you have to read this entirely separate book to get the background on this character to make it actually plausible.
Of why Sam is with this random dude.
That this would happen just for him to get thrown away.
Yeah.
Hate. He was a throwaway this entire time. It was so frustrating. So Nina kind of pulls a Daphne and it's like, I need to stand on my own for a little while without Jamie. And so she's going to go to Oxford, but they're going to keep trying to date and stuff.
Jamie's going to woo her, which I admittedly thought was kind of cute.
I think it's very cute. I like Jamie a lot.
I liked the wooing. I wish we had more of them together because I really like Jamie.
And so I hate that they kind of leave the door open for, oh, maybe Nina and Jeff will get together. No!
I feel like at the end they close that though, where Nina's like, we're done. I felt like that firmly got closed.
It doesn't, and it bothers me. And it's why it's a 4-star instead of a 5. Because at the very, very end, she kind of gets a text. He's like, hey, I'm going to be in the area. And she's like, oh, well, maybe we can meet for a coffee.
But then I thought they talked we're never going to be the same again.
It's left in the air.
I took it as they're not going to be the same. And Nina's like, Jeff, you got to work on yourself, my guy.
No, Jeff shows up. He doesn't even text her. He just shows up and he's like, hey.
Yeah, he just shows up.
I'm in love with you. And despite her relationship with Jamie, she agrees to give Jeff another chance. And they're going to go get coffee. And they're going to start over. I hate it. I hate it so much. Why? Whatever. Daphne confronts her mom and that's great. I need to say something happy. Whatever. They get married. It's actually very beautiful. I have some onion ninjas.
At least there's one happy couple.
The freaking onion ninjas, I swear. Yeah, Daphne's working in France.
Her Ethan seemed to be slowly.
Her and Ethan are talking. He's pre-med at King's College, which is what he wanted. The coronation week's happening, so they're going to meet up. Jeff and him seem cool, and Daphne is staying away from Jeff. Good. One of our girls figured it out.
Honestly, Jeff, I just need you to stay away from everyone. You should have been the royal that lost your title, but that's fine.
You should be the ones taking a step away from relationships.
Yeah.
He hasn't been single his entire adult life.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff knows who he is by himself.
Also, Louise gives Daphne power of attorney while she's gone, and I just don't think the French would like that. This random American who's been working for her for less of a year is in charge of the country.
Yeah, I don't see that going over well, but maybe this France is less revolutionary driven. I don't know.
We saw how when Beatrice was out, Jeff took over, a royal family member, and not Anjou, not the PR staff. Oh, well, whatever. Can't think too hard about it. We're supposed to be having a happy ending. Anyway, she's starting to take part-time classes in September at a French college, which was great. Gabriella ran away with Juan Carlos, who has been a joke mention in the past 2 books.
It works, honestly, perfect. Good for them. The joke characters have finally found their happy ending with each other.
Yeah, they met in the airport after the wedding, and her private jet was seized, and she was upset about it. And then Juan Carlos comes up and is like, I've got a private jet. It was like, he knows what he's about. He's like, I got money. That's what I can offer here. You've got beauty. Let's go.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that about him.
They're honest. They know what they want from each other.
We are both vain individuals that care about the thing we care about. We're not going to play at whatever. We're just going to be honest here, and I appreciate that. Nina loves Oxford. She's being kept on. In Nina's background, we get told that Sam sent her a song by Liam's new band that's apparently wildly popular.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to him at the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Nina and Sam are spending the whole weekend together. I think somewhere in this book, I've just finally been like, this is too straight for me. Sam and Nina should just get together.
Sam and Nina or Daphne and Nina?
Oh, that's a good point. I like that better, yeah. Well, I'm also a sucker for enemies to lovers, though. Sam and Marshall are still together. She's helping him prepare for his role as future heir. We already talked about how she's getting a law. She's volunteering under a judge. She's being a law clerk, which is actually very good thing to do for future lawyers because you get the experience. But I'm just saying, I don't think you got to be under a judge because you had a terrible high school GPA, but that's beside the point. Turns down getting her titles, and she's like, no, this is what I want to do, which is good for her because she's always been like, no, I don't want my titles, except the second she doesn't have the privilege. She's like, oh no, the world hates me.
Yeah.
Beatrice gets ready to get coronated. There's a lot of symbolism woven into her outfit, which I feel like the author must have loved coming up with. Having these special symbols in the veil and on her dress and things like that.
I did really love that.
And she even feels as though her father is telling her how proud he is. Ugh, the onion ninjas out here.
Really? They really were working overtime.
Jeff makes an oath because he's the second ranking person, and then Teddy makes an oath, and Beatrice realizes that she made the right choice marrying him, and we're done. I love that ending for her. I love that we finally ended with that coronation.
I felt like a good way to end it for Beatrice's story.
For real. I really like everyone's ending but Nina's. Don't talk to Jeff. He's the worst.
Do your thing. Forget about him.
Forget about him. He's just a guy.
He tried to get with you the night before his wedding.
Hit him with your car. Alas. But yeah, I like everybody else's. I would have liked she's continued to be wooed by Jamie because he just seems like a better dude. He's all the positive things about Jeff with none of the negatives.
Yeah, give me the wooing.
We want the charismatic woo.
Yeah, I don't want Jeff. I want a man. Not a man-child.
General thought. I think the prequel, cute, short, sweet. We really don't know what to do with Sam in this series until the very end. And even most of the book.
Yeah, and even then.
We created this spare dynamic and we're just not really sure what to do with it. But yeah, no, you're right. I ship Nina and Daphne real hard. She's in Oxford. Daphne's in Paris. That's not very far.
Just the English Channel.
Just saying. Much closer than Canada.
Although Jamie does have that private jet, so I mean.
You don't think the basically Queen of France doesn't have a private jet or three?
I mean, she would just need like a boat.
It's not that far. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, there we go. There's the series. One of my questions earlier was if she had to continue in the series, would it be a different time period or would it be a different family at the same time? Turns out it's a different time period. She wrote another book in the series, which I think I sent to you when I saw the ad for it because I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot what it's called though.
A Queen's Game.
Ah, yep. You said it earlier.
Bestseller, so I don't know why it's not on her Wikipedia page. Guys, get on it. But
I wonder if my library has it yet.
In this historical romance inspired by true events, three princesses struggle to find love and end up vying for the heart of two future kings. Oh no! So it is a historical one, which is pretty great. It came out at the end of 2024, but I just don't feel like a big deal was made out of it.
Yeah, it was.
It says it's a bestseller. It's a Woman's World Best Book of the Year. How are we not hearing about this? It came out in November. Okay, someone's lying. Goodreads or Barnes & Noble. Someone's lying. I don't know when this book came out because Google says October. Oh no.
Release date on her website is November 12th, 2024.
I wonder why Google lies then.
Mysteries.
I don't always know what's going going on? So this time around, I want to know, and I've read some of the other series. She has this one, which is alternate history, which puts it in sci-fi, but it's romance. But then she has another series that is sci-fi and has romance, but where this one I'd be like, that's a romance. That one's more like a bunch of Daphnes running around.
Oh, interesting.
So I'd be really curious, does she like writing this series better? Or did she really enjoy writing the Tower series better? So, questions.
My question was, how she wrote the prequel explaining everything. I was like, can't we just have a little epilogue book just 5 to 10 years in the future to see where everyone is? Would she ever consider publishing something like that? Also, who is this woman on the cover? That's my other question. Who is this?
That is facts. Rating. Inheritance, I would give a cookie snack out of 10. Short, sweet, to the point. Probably couldn't do it every night, but I'm not mad that I did it.
I'm going to give it 1 garbage truck ride out of 10.
Memorable. It's an experience.
Yeah.
Don't want to repeat.
No, exactly. Hopefully it was somewhat clean.
Live to tell the tale.
Yeah, we made it through to the other side. Slightly bruised and battered, but it's fine.
For Rain, I would give it watching your bestie go through it, but it's her own fault out of 10.
That's a good one. That's true.
You did this to yourself. I'm going to be here and supportive, and I'm going to hope for the good outcome, but you're an adult. You make your adult mistakes. I think you're strong enough to get back out, but definitely going to side-eye.
I was giving mine 2 weddings out of 10. So there's 2 weddings. But not in this book, just in general. That'd be like the whole series, I guess.
Technically only 1 wedding, 2 fake weddings, with 2 false starts.
Everyone gathered.
A gathering was commenced.
Yes, a gathering out of 10.
Ugh, are you attending or planning? Because that makes it different.
I'm just attending. Blood would have been spilled if I'd planned that whole thing, and then they canceled it. I'm just here for the drama and the tea.
To watch, not be a part of.
Yeah, I hope that poor event coordinator got so much money after Beatrice's canceled wedding.
Yeah. Reading in, probably. Not immediately. It's not a series where it's like the New Year's has hit and I can reread the book series kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe in like a few years.
Yeah, I could see in like 4 years.
It's one I definitely have recommended to people being like, it's just interesting. It's not the best series, but it's an interesting one. It's a fun take on the U.S.
Yeah, I would recommend it to people. I think you should read it at least once. You might really like it. What the author does, she does very well. As much as I give her a hard time, having had some time to think about it, separate from the emotions of the book. But I think it's very well done.
Yeah, she has her strengths, but there's also some things that I'm just like, oh, not that I could do any better.
The more you sit on it, the more you go, wait a second. Because if we had recorded it right afterwards, I think I would have been in a much more complimentary mood. I would have remembered all the good stuff I liked, but it's been a minute, so I remember all the stuff that I didn't like, because that's how the human memory works. But eventually it will fade, and then I will just have nostalgia and positive vibes in general.
I should read that again. Yeah.
Because that is also how memory works. So eventually. Favorite of the series? Rivals. It's just so good with Daphne and Nina working together, and I really like Beatrice and Louise.
The characters felt the most alive in Rivals to me.
Yeah, it was all pretty good.
Without a doubt, Rivals was my favorite.
I liked it.
The first book, I was just like, this is just cheating.
A little bit.
The second book, I don't really remember. Didn't really leave much of an impression on me, for being honest. Third book, I was just like, there's so much going on. The characters are starting to flesh out. And then this book, I was just like, yeah, wrapped everything up.
We did it.
We're here.
This book has proven that we probably did not have a 5th book in the series to go.
Yeah, I can't imagine like what they would have done to have a 5th book.
I'm kind of done. I'm tapped out on their drama. I want new drama.
Yeah.
In historical France.
Yes.
Or in a very tall tower, depending.
Yeah.
But have you read this book? Who do you want Nina to end up with? And if you put Jeff,
we're fighting.
Thumbs down. Do you have any book recommendations for us? Tell us all about it in the comments below. If you like the video, hit like. And if you're enjoying yourself, hit subscribe for more. Thank you for exploring Rain with us. Join us next time when we'll be covering The Click by Lizzie Harrison. I'm Sam Reiner.
And I'm Hannah Rossell.
And we hope to see you and a friend here next time. Escape With Me Book Club is a Lunar Skulk production. Check us out on TikTok or Instagram to keep up to date with us. Lunar_SKULK.